Welcome to a picture-perfect fall evening at Pony Stadium on the campus of Stillwater Area High School in Oak Park Heights. Mike Beedham with you, all by myself, talking to myself. That's Chaos Theory. And we've got one of the top girls soccer matchups of the season as Stillwater wraps up their homecoming week. The homecoming dance is taking place not too far from here, but at Pony Stadium. We've got the Stillwater Area Ponies and the Maple Grove Crimson. Stillwater, the number 6 team in the most recent Class AAA poll. Maple Grove, the number 3 team, and one of the most recent state tournament champions. Most recent, defending, either way you put it, Maple Grove, the last team to hoist the Big School Trophy back in 2019. Of course, there was no state tournament in 2020 due to the pandemic. For Stillwater, this is the next test in a series of them this season. They have scheduled a gamut of high-caliber opponents. They've already played Rosemount, Lakeville North, and Edina in non-conference play, and they will wrap it up with Centennial. Throw in schools like White Bear Lake and Eastridge, and Stillwater could face 6 top 10 teams, 6 or 7, by season's end. Maple Grove, 9-0-1. Stillwater, 8-2-0. Maple Grove's lone draw was a scoreless one against Champlain Park. Outside of that, all W's. And they have asserted themselves as another team to beat. Both coaches noted that last year's versions of these two teams felt like the best group they ever coached with, but I think they have some nice things to say about this year's set as well. For Stillwater, you've got CJ Fredkove and Marisa Bonilla, both with 9 goals each, and a couple of multi-goal games in there. For Maple Grove, they spread it around a little more. Quinn Omar and Laura Zimmerman both lead with 7 goals. So neither side has an explosive knockout score per se, but they do have several players they can go to create scoring opportunities. Stillwater wearing the black kits, Maple Grove wearing the white. We'd like to welcome all of you watching this on our YouTube channel and those who are watching on local TV through our syndication arrangements with Valley Access Channels and CCX Media. Wherever you're watching, we're glad you are spending part of your day with us. Goal kick for the Crimson. We'll get names and numbers as we move along. And number 7, Maddie Raymond, just clears it away. Weather conditions far more pleasant than our last time here when we were dealing with moody, misty weather in the Stillwater Lakeville North game. Stillwater won that 1-2-1, continuing their winning streak against Lakeville North in that annual rivalry. But matchups like this with Maple Grove, they have Centennial next Saturday. We hope to carry that game for you as well. These are the matchups that were sorely missed a year ago as the pandemic limited scheduling to in-conference competition in the case of the Suburban East. Same for the Northwest Suburban. Throw in for the Crimson. And Maple Grove slowly inching their way downfield. When you look at the resume with these two teams, not a lot of surprises. They've beaten the teams they're expected to defeat handily. They've won several key matchups against top non-conference competition. Marisa Bonilla was looking for a potential counterplay, but is able to clear that away. The Champlain Park result, maybe a little surprise. on the part of the Crimson. But they have a couple of big tests left, including Centennial, the school I mentioned earlier. Centennial ranked second in the most recent Class 3A poll. They'll get Maple Grove on Tuesday and then Stillwater next Saturday. So the Cougars running into perhaps the meat of their schedule against other ranked teams based on the most recent poll. Maple Grove defeated Rogers, another Northwest Suburban battle, 2-1 in a Saturday contest. Maple Grove flips the field. Stillwater sends it out of bounds. And flipping the field, you may hear that term more often in football, but it does carry some relevance in soccer too, as far as establishing attack goes. And foul was called on Stillwater, so Maple Grove will get their first chance at a set piece. Bree Sullivan on the free kick. Left that one a little short, but it rolls out to number 16, Kendall Quall. Stillwater's defense holds serve there. It looked like Amelia Bartosh got in there. Stillwater down a few players due to injury, and Maple Grove also had a scratch in Franny Gostansky, so both rosters a little on the small end tonight. That will limit the use of substitutions. But in a matchup like this, you probably aren't going to be bringing in your deep bench players. And there is no JV game with non-conference affairs. Maple Grove try to get the lead pass in there. Ball still loose. Batted away by Stillwater. Grace Kleppe with a sound defensive effort. There wasn't a Maple Grove player in her vicinity, but when the ball is loose like that near the net, you don't want to give the opponent any chance of knocking it in. Maple Grove resetting. Both teams reached the state tournament last year, or I should say 2019. They would have reached it last year had there been one. Maple Grove won Section A2A, Stillwater won Section 4, finished the season as the #1 team in Class 2A. And now these two are will hopefully battle for the honor of becoming the first Class 3A state tournament champion. Because as you know, we expanded to 3 classes. That trimmed the sections, so Stillwater's group, Section 4-2A, only 7 teams, so whoever gets the 1 seed, and Stillwater has the inside track after their 2-0 win over White Bear Lake. Whoever gets the 1 seed will get a first-round bye, so they'll get a day off to prepare for the semifinal round. Maple Grove sends that out of play. Ponies looking for an opening, and we've got a foul and a yellow.
Yellow card, caution, issued for Sinclair. Free kick Stillwater.
Avery Toms, it looked like she grabbed either Toms or Sullivan. Grabbed a Stillwater player. McKenna Collin will come in on a yellow, and the player has to sub out. And now CJ Fredkove, who is outstanding on set pieces, got one there, but it bounces harmlessly to the Maple Grove keeper, Ingrid Kotzman. .923 save percentage. Stillwater has a pair of keepers, Hadley Johnson and Sydney Gritters. So a yellow card issued. You don't see those often in girls soccer, but they can happen. Here's a deep shot that goes wide right. Not a bad look from Amelia Bartosh. .31-35 to go in the first half. Stillwater ball after a Maple Grove foul.
Stillwater, taken by C.J. Fredkove.
Fredkove to put the ball in play. Here's Bartosh. She's got a look. Too high.
Substitution on for Maple Grove, number 15, Laura Zimmerman.
Now Maple Grove is trying to set up their offense once again. Stillwater already with a couple of chances at the net. Deep pass for the Ponies. And a nice little box out by the Maple Grove defender to allow Kotzman to scoop it up. That was Britt Lund, who effectively screened Luca Johnson. Luca has 5 goals on the season. We mentioned Bonilla and Fredkove, the leading scorers, but Luca has stepped up in big moments. She scored the only goal in Stillwater's 1-0 win over Roseville, and she also picked up one against Edina. Stillwater lost that one 2-1, but Edina, the number 1 team in the state, and have been throughout the season. So Luca Johnson, the junior, getting a couple of big goals in key moments.
Substitution on for Maple Grove, back on number 14, Marisa.
Bree Sullivan returns. On the Maple Grove side, we mentioned no explosive goal scorers. They prefer to spread it around. But Quinn Omar did get a hat trick against Park Center, and Laura Zimmerman got a multi-goal game in their 4-0 win over Spring Lake Park. But here come the Ponies looking to get on the board. Bonilla. Bonilla was dashing toward the net. Last touch by Maple Grove, throwing for the Ponies. And now Maple Grove trying to move the ball downfield again. Their defense so far is noteworthy, but Stillwater getting the edge on them in terms of ball control. few more throw-ins for the Ponies. And that will roll past the goal line. Last touch by Maple Grove, so Stillwater will get their first corner. They've already had a couple of set pieces. And in the Woodbury game, which I called for Valley Access channels, Stillwater operated beautifully on those set pieces. Bartosh putting the ball in play, and that header will bounce out of play. .26.5 minutes, still no score, but the Ponies are lurking, and you get the sense if they continue this surveillance on the attacking third, they could find themselves with a scoring chance. This game, one of several for Stillwater that could prove influential for seeding purposes, because should these two make it to state, Rosemount and Edina come into play there too. Lakeville North, all of those teams have a chance of making it to state. Maple Grove certainly could. The coaches seed the field, so who you played and quality wins, key wins, that all adds up. And with coaches seeding the field, those head-to-head matchups often serve as tiebreakers if you have teams with similar records. So a win for the Ponies, you think would help them move up a bit in the next Class 3A poll, but more importantly, you would also think it would help them get a seed or get a leg up on Maple Grove for seeding. They lost to Rosemount and lost to Edina, so as it stands right now, Stillwater would be looking at the third seed unless something happens to the two teams in front of them. Maple Grove looking to turn the tide. But the pesky Stillwater lineup keeps finding a way to wrestle control of the ball. Maple Grove sending a deep pass downfield, and one of the speedier players, I believe, Laura Zimmerman, was able to chase it down.
Substitution on for Maple Grove, number 20, Helene Gates.
And Stillwater doing the very thing we have seen them do in close games. If they find themselves in a tough spot, just clear the ball, send it past that touch line, and give themselves an opportunity to reset on a throw-in. Maple Grove resetting to their keeper, Ingrid Kotzman. But this is where the Crimson have to be careful, as we've seen Stillwater not afraid to take chances, and I think that ball rolled out of play before Maple Grove could get a kick in there. So Stillwater will take over. Here's a chance for the Ponies. And another corner kick awaits them as CJ Fredkove was trying to play that ball. Well played, and a save by Kautzman. That was a well-placed ball. Good header by the Ponies. Kautzman was able to stay with it. And I don't know if you can see it off in the distance, but the homecoming dance is taking place a short distance away from Pony Stadium. As I understand it, it's outdoors. And I see a cavalcade of sharply dressed young men and women. Over here, we've got a cavalcade of sharply tuned athletes. As Stillwater continues to knock on the proverbial door. A sound defense so far.
I guess it wasn't where I thought it was. I got 15 while you're gone. I'm juggling.
This is where Maple Grove has to be careful. There have been a couple of times where they've battled Stillwater players. And they're going to get another corner out of this. Maple Grove has to be more mindful of Stillwater's attackers, because as we've seen, they've put Maple Grove into some uncomfortable positions, and they're conceding a lot of corners early on, and you never know what will happen on set pieces. Ball still loose.
Ooh, that was close.
Couple of nice plays by the Maple Grove defenders. The ball still pinballs around. Another corner for the Ponies, but give credit to the Maple Grove defense. A couple of players were able to get in there. One knocked the ball away from the goal line to keep this at a scoreless draw. And that time, Kautzman catches the free ball and will remove any doubt. But as we said before, Stillwater continues to knock on the proverbial door. And if Maple Grove can't find a way to contain that, they could be staring at a deficit. Then again, even a draw wouldn't be a damper on Stillwater. But you have to imagine in that situation, if it came to seeding, a draw would put more of an onus on strength of schedule. Maple Grove benefits from having a couple of Northwest Suburban Conference peers in the top 10. Stillwater, a pair of top 10 Suburban East peers in White Bear Lake and Eastridge. But outside of that, Stillwater arguably has played the tougher schedule when you look at non-conference opponents. Maple Grove, perhaps one of their signature wins, was a 2-1 victory over Minnetonka on September 11th. Minnetonka, another team that has a strong soccer pedigree, even if they're not in the top 10. Throwing for the Ponies. Loose ball. And you can't blame Stillwater for taking a shot in that scenario. It looked like Bartosh. That's a situation where you got a loose ball. It's in scoring range. The worst that can happen is a goal kick. Stillwater looking for another seam. They try to set up Bonilla on the centering pass. Now Maple Grove was looking for a counterplay, but the ball rolls a little too far out, and Stillwater's keeper, Hadley Johnson, alertly lets it roll into that 18-yard box, which allows her to use her hands. If she tried to field it outside, that would be a no-no, but as long as you stay in that 18-yard box, that larger yellow rectangle, you're fine. But now Maple Grove is trying to move the ball downfield again. And you get the feeling with the Crimson, if they could get just one pass, one good pass, they would create a prime opportunity to put one on the board. But Stillwater's stingy defense has halted every effort thus far. And there's another example. How do you get around that Stillwater defense that doesn't give you a lot of lanes to work with, at least in the games we've covered? And don't forget, in the game with Rosemount, even though Stillwater dropped that one 3-1, they did score first. Substitution for the Crimson. Fredkove was trying to clear it or set up Bonilla. Scrum for the ball. That pass was onside. Johnson may have a chance, and she hooks it. Johnson was onside. Maybe the best look Stillwater had. Johnson might have hurried it a little bit with Maple Grove's defense closing. Nice little dance by number 18, Allison Lindblom, but nobody's there. So Hadley Johnson will scoop it up and give Stillwater a chance to reset. Hadley Johnson, .875 save percentage, 35 saves on the season. She and Sydney Gritters have split time. Minding the net this season, Gritters going in against matchups where Stillwater is the heavy favorite. It's not uncommon for teams at this level to have two keepers. Right now, action contained to the midfield. We've seen several throw-ins, but neither side able to penetrate over the last minute or so, but Stillwater looking to change that here as Fredkove intercepts the pass, and that wasn't a bad shot on the run. Wide right, but not a bad idea. As we've said before, though, this is a Stillwater team that is opportunistic. They're not afraid to take chances, take a shot at the net, because if you can put it on point, you never know. They've had a couple go off target, but continuing to remind Maple Grove of their presence and what they are dealing with. Back at midfield, less than 10 minutes to play in the first half. On a crisp September fall evening. As we get closer and closer to the end of the regular season in soccer, just a couple of weeks left. Luca Johnson, can she catch up to it? No, Kautzman got on the ball, and Kautzman, I believe, got an assist from the defender who was on Johnson. Can't make out the number from here. That was Britt Lund. But Stillwater on the move again. Karam! Goal! Stillwater gets on the board. We've said this before. You give the Ponies opportunities, sooner or later they may find one that punches the back of the net. It's Luca Johnson, who scores in the 31st minute. It came off a carom, but Stillwater and their success at creating turnovers, getting in passing lanes, keeping momentum on their side. They haven't allowed Maple Grove's offense to set up all that much. That is helping the Ponies in a big way. And it helps them score first in a battle of top 10 teams. Maple Grove, the most recent state tournament champion in 2A. Ben Levon, the head coach, not afraid to use the defending state champion distinction, which is true, even though Maple Grove is in a new class this year, so that's why the defending champion language gets a little iffy, because Maple Grove is the most recent champion, and they are defending champions, but they won't be able to defend their Class 2A title due to being in 3A with the expansion of 3 classes this year. However you slice it, this is a program with a strong pedigree in recent years, and a Stillwater win would be quite the boost. But we've got a Maple Grove throw-in coming up with 7:45 left in the first half.
Substitution on Stillwater, number 16, Laura Zimmerman.
Ellis Deblay going in for the Ponies as they await a throw-in. As night has fallen at Pony Stadium, so you can't quite see the homecoming dance party taking place. I still see people over there though, but busy night for Stillwater as they wrap up homecoming week. Free kick for the Ponies. Fredkove trying to play it deep and hook up with Estelle Alasiams. But Stillwater hanging on to it. On this throw-in. Fredkove. Takes another boot at the net. Kautzman able to track it. Maple Grove. This could be the counter they're looking for, but the ball rolls too far away, and Hadley Johnson will scoop it up without fear. That might have been the best chance Maple Grove had at a counter, at least in this half, but we still have plenty of time remaining. Maple Grove sends that out of play. Caitlin Culber clears it. And as you've seen in this game, and if you've followed our soccer coverage in the past, a lot of defenders will do that if they see a loose ball, just clear it past the touchline. Give the defense a chance to reset, since a throw-in is not as likely to produce a scoring opportunity. At least not directly. Maple Grove had that one as Kautzman scooped it up, but Ellis Deblay sending a reminder to watch out for the Ponies. And we've seen that happen a couple of times where Maple Grove looking for those counter plays. And that time, number 21, name not on the roster. We'll get it in a moment. Boxed out, let the ball roll out for a goal kick. But we've seen Maple Grove try to hook up on a few counters. They just can't get the pass on the mark. If they can get a pass on point, that might change. Here's another deep ball from the Crimson. Can they catch up to it? Almost. Julia Lewis. Actually, that was Zimmerman. Zimmerman was almost on top of it. Another step and we're likely looking at a 1-1 score. 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Stillwater up 1-0 on the goal from Luca Johnson, her 6th of the season. We noted this before. She has scored against top-level competition. Able to bring it in big game situations. Goal kick with less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. Maple Grove starting to get some rhythm. Starting to develop a little organization with their offense. But they haven't put a shot on net yet.
1 minute remains in the first half.
Less than a minute to go. Maple Grove with the chance they're looking for here. Oh, if they could have gotten the ball to Zimmerman. Zimmerman was on top of it. Maple Grove will have time for a corner, 23 seconds. Should be enough time to get the set piece in play, but Crimson will have to move quick. Stillwater gets in front of it. Here comes Britt Lund, 10 seconds. Maple Grove trying to get a centering pass, something on net. Stillwater boots it away, and they will escape the first half without giving up a goal. So the Ponies strike first on a carom that Luca Johnson punched in to give Stillwater a 1-0 lead at the half over Maple Grove. Again, potential state tournament seeding implications for the winner of this game, and Stillwater took a big step in that direction. That brings us to halftime. We'll take a break and bring you the second half and find out who wins this non-conference Clash of Titans when we return.
Twin City Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Second half about to commence at Pony Stadium on the campus of Stillwater Area High School in Oak Park Heights. The homecoming dance is taking place a short distance away from us. Stillwater hoping to pick up a key home victory over the Maple Grove Crimson, and they got a step closer when Luca Johnson scored in the 31st minute. There was also a yellow card. We believe that was issued to Bree Sullivan against Maple Grove. So Sullivan with a yellow, and as you know, 2 yellows equal a red, so keep that in mind as play continues. But Luca Johnson scoring her 6th goal of the year. And as we noted before, Luca comes up clutch in big games. She scored the difference maker in the win over Roseville. She tallied Stillwater's lone goal against Edina. So she is no stranger to big-time situations. But up and down the rosters, both teams have plenty of options at their disposal. Maple Grove, for example, Omar and Zimmerman lead the way with 7 goals each, but Sarah Nitzler has 5. Franny Kostansky, who unfortunately is not available, she has 3. Brooke Nelson has 4 goals for the Ponies. Amelia Bartosh has a pair of goals and 4 assists. So these two teams have a lot of weapons at their disposal. And if you just joined us, state tournament seeding implications are at stake in this game. Whoever wins, if there is a winner, will get a leg up. And I say that because games can end in draws. Maple Grove had one against Champlain Park, a team that made state 2 years ago in the Class 2A field. Toward the end of the first half, Maple Grove started to penetrate the attacking third and got a couple of looks, but the theme of the first half was the gluttony of chances on Stillwater's end. Time and time again, they found a way to punch it in. That'll be Maple Grove ball, as Bonilla wasn't able to stay in the field of play. Stillwater with another turnover and trying to hook up with number 18, Nell Smith, on the lead pass. But they get the result they were looking for anyway, as Maple Grove has no choice but to send it past the touchline, concede a throw into the Ponies. That's Lauren Kuda. You're seeing some names and numbers that normally don't play as much for the Ponies, but again, their roster impacted by injuries and a couple of absences, so Ponies working with a few different members of the stable, but so far they have played well. As the 1-0 lead over Maple Grove demonstrates. And once again, we'd like to welcome all of you watching this on our YouTube channel and on local TV, whether that's Valley Access Channels or CCX Media. CCX sent one of their shooters to get highlights of this one, and I can understand why. A battle of top 10 teams. A perennial contender in Stillwater, the 2019 2A state champions in Maple Grove, who will forever hold that distinction as the last 2A state champion in the 2-class format. Whether or not you call them defending state champions, they will forever be the final team to win the big school title in the era of 2 classes. Unless we go back to 2 classes at some point in the future, but I don't think I'll be around for that. This is the first year of 3 classes in boys and girls soccer, which means there will be a new champion in 2A and a first-time champion in 3A. We'll never know how these two teams would have fared since there was no tournament last year, as Maple Grove sends that away, gives themselves a chance to reset. That is one of the best sideline clearances you can get. Push Stillwater back a few yards and keep the Ponies from cashing in on some awkward carom, as Luca Johnson did in the 31st minute. Bonilla making a nice play for it. And Stillwater doing a tremendous job pinning Maple Grove into corner kick situations. This is the 5th corner for the Ponies. And even though the majority of the time corner kicks don't result in scoring opportunities, you never know when they can. Bartosz took a shot from the middle. Kautzman records the save. Stillwater 8-2-0, Maple Grove 9-0-1. Ponies looking for what would be their biggest win of the season. Although Lakeville North jumped them in the rankings, Luca Johnson wrestles control. Got through one defender, but couldn't break through a second. As I was just about to say, Stillwater picked up one over Lakeville North. At the time, Stillwater was 3, Lakeville North was 7. The Panthers have jumped the Ponies in the most recent poll, but Stillwater would still have the edge, presumably, owing to their victory. But when it comes to seeding, you look at the number of teams that are ranked, the sections they're from, and how many of them can make it through. In the case of Stillwater, you've got several teams. Edina in 2, Rosemount 3, Maple Grove 5. Centennial in 7, if I'm not mistaken. Which means you can't rely on teams knocking each other out as you would in other sports to determine seeding. But this is where Maple Grovers run into trouble. They can't find a way to consistently get through, but here's their chance. It looks like the speedy Zimmerman is there. That was the counter they were looking for. Lauren Zimmerman dashes her way in. She got the odd woman run she was looking for, and we're square at 1. Zimmerman scores in the 49th minute. Her 8th goal of the year. And this changes everything. But we saw it in the first half. Maple Grove was trying to set up those counter plays, and as you saw, Zimmerman got control of the ball, and there was nobody in the back line to intervene. Still a lot of time left, though. Pony's not going to take a chance this time. Interesting move by Johnson. She was in the 18-yard box. She could have fallen on it and stopped Zimmerman, but elected to play it instead. That could have been a dangerous scenario for the Ponies. Had that ball not been fielded properly. As I was saying earlier, Stillwater's non-conference slate featuring teams all over the state. Centennial in 7, Maple Grove 5, Edina 2, Lakeville North 1, Rosemount 3. So you can't depend on teams knocking each other out in section play. Maple Grove on the move. Contact. Nothing called. That was a legal challenge in the view of the official. But that was close. Handball called on Stillwater, but that challenge toward the net was awfully close. That could have resulted in a PK, but Maple Grove not through yet. Adley Johnson gets on top of that one. So, as we were saying before, these two teams, Maple Grove has the advantage of a higher ranking, but they can't depend on other teams in range to knock them out as Johnson issues a challenge. Maple Grove catches up to it. This is McKenna Collin. Johnson dives on it a second time. So that increases the impetus to get a win in a matchup like this, because whoever does win will get a seed up. And why is that important? The higher seed you get, the easier your schedule is, at least that's how seeding goes. But as we know in this sport, nothing is a guarantee. The stronger team does not always win. And a draw would really shake things up. Of course, both of these teams have to get through the section bracket. Stillwater has a favorable path to return to state. They beat White Bear Lake 2-0 earlier this week. They get East Ridge next week. The Raptors have a couple of losses already in conference play, so Stillwater has some breathing room there. So the win over White Bear Lake, coupled with Stillwater's strength of schedule, should give them an inside track to the 1 seed. Here's Fredkove, dancing around her defender, centering pass, deflected, ball still loose. Goal! I believe Bonilla raced in there to knock it in. And Stillwater regains momentum with a 2-1 lead. Stillwater playing well. It was Bonilla. As I was about to say, Stillwater playing well in scenarios off rebounds. We saw it in Lakeville North. Stillwater got a goal after a centering pass was sent back their way. And this is where Stillwater has proven extremely potent. Not the first action necessarily, but the second one. Luka Johnson scored off a carom. And Marisa Bonilla punches it in after the ball was knocked around near the net. And that is a big score for Stillwater, not just because it gives them the lead, but it gives them a little more confidence that they can withstand a run from a top-tier opponent. Again, they got a taste of that with Lakeville North. But when a team that's ranked ahead of you gets on the board, that presents an obstacle. But if Stillwater keeps up their heart-wrenching scoring methods, my tension headaches might increase in severity. I'll have to take some ibuprofen when I get home. Throwing coming up for the Ponies, or I should say the Crimson, but the Ponies probably don't mind because that keeps the quick Laura Zimmerman away from a breakaway opportunity. As we saw earlier, she knocked a goal using her speed. No college commitments for Maple Grove yet, but Ben Levon suspects there will be. Stillwater, of course, CJ Fredkove going to St. Thomas, where she'll join her former high school teammate, Lexi Huber. Marisa Bonilla hasn't committed yet, but I've got a feeling she'll be playing soccer somewhere. Kautzman fields that one. Bonilla, I think, was trying to get a corner out of it. Threw it in right away and gives the ball back to Maple Grove. Keep an eye out for Zimmerman in this situation. She had it for a moment. Looked to hook up with number 10, Julia Lewis. Stillwater sends the ball back. After Zimmerman's goal in the 49th minute, Stillwater's back line, I'm sure, have communicated to each other, watch out for 15. Don't let her break open. Because we still have 22 and a half minutes, an eternity in soccer time, before we decide a winner. And that's an example, as we see Maple Grove do throughout this game. In this case, Lauren Kuda. Oh, centering pass was right there, but just a little too far for number 9, Quinn Omar. Throwing for the Crimson. They had a prime opening and just couldn't put it in. Foul is called on the Crimson. And a momentary pause. Not an injury timeout, just a shoe retie. So no clock stoppage in this scenario. Now it's the Ponies looking to strike. And with a tough angle, Fredkove concluded the best option was to force a deflection and set Bartosz up for another corner. Stillwater 6th. Another set piece. Heard a couple of parents yell, shoot it. Jump ball, and Kautzman got ahead of it. Lauren Wilhouse, I don't think, was aware of it. Had she spotted the ball, might have been able to punch it in. But Kautzman falls on it and keeps it a 2-1 game. Maple Grove's still in this. A collision, and Stillwater looking for the clearance. They get it. That ball bounces off Bonilla's leg. She catches up to it, and we play on. Lewis double teamed. That ball rolls under the legs of the ref. Ref's in the field to play, of course. Maple Grove tried to set up Zimmerman on that pass. Bartosz. And Stillwater will clear it away. Bonilla had some traffic to deal with there. Did the best she could in that situation. Here's Johnson. And wisely let that one go. Sensing that Kendall Quall made contact with it. Another corner, the 7th for the Ponies. None have led to a score yet, but you never know with those set pieces. Bartosz getting a lot of practice on the corner kicks tonight. A lot of reps, that is, because this isn't practice, this is for real. This is the break Maple Grove might be looking for here. Here's Lewis. Was looking for Zimmerman, but Stillwater gets in the way.
Substitution on for Maple Grove, number 14, Marisa.
That was Nora Wilczek who got the stop on the last sequence for the Ponies. Zimmerman. If she had gotten to the ball first, we could be looking at another equalizer, but Johnson wins the sprint and falls on it tighter than the lid of a pickle jar. And even though that won't go down as a save, Zimmerman gets another foot on it. Oh! I was going to say, even though that last stop by Johnson won't go down as a save, that was a key stop. You won't see it on the stat sheet, but that hustle could prove to be the difference. Who will come out on top? Stillwater bouncing it off a Maple Grove player. That was Maura Christensen, who got it off Lewis to earn a throw-in. But Maple Grove has found their footing enough to give Stillwater pause and add a dose of drama to the final 15 minutes of this one. We've seen how potent, how lethal Zimmerman is. If she gets even a pinch of space to work with. That's going to put the onus on converging around her. Free kick for Stillwater, and that will bounce. I thought it was going to go past the goal line, but Stillwater able to get control and make Couchman think about it for a moment. Stillwater in another tough stretch of games. They had that big non-conference swing with Rosemount, Lakeville North, and Edina. They have Maple Grove tonight. Mountains View, one of the bubble teams in Class 3A, as Luca Johnson tries to make a play in the ball. Eastridge, ranked in the most recent poll. We'll see if that changes anything. And Centennial. Those 4 games could dictate the fate for Stillwater. As we said before, with the win over White Bear Lake and a win over Maple Grove would certainly help. You have to think the Ponies would have the inside track to the 1 seed, which would mean hosting the section semifinal. They would get the first round bye as Bonilla wrestles control of the ball away from Maddie Raymond. The problem is she doesn't have much support as he tries to work around Raymond, and she does. Bounces the ball off and gives Stillwater yet another corner. But that is what the top soccer players do. They improvise. They add a degree or two of ingenuity. And Bartosh, we still have plenty of time in this one, 11:55 and counting, but you can see not in any hurry to spot the ball. More than willing to eat up a few seconds here whilst he still can. And that header goes through the uprights.
Substitutions on for the Maple Grove, number 18, Allison Lindblom, and number 12, Ken Collins.
Lindblom and Collin returning to the pitch for the Crimson. Ball loose. Maple Grove able to clear it away. That's another fine defensive effort. I I think Avery Toms was the player who got in front of the ball as it was rolling toward the goal line. Kautzman wasn't able to control it. Had that ball rolled past the goal line, Maple Grove's looking at a 2-goal deficit. And given the way Stillwater's offense has played throughout much of this game, a 2-goal lead would more than likely ice it. Not sure what Maple Grove's intent was there. Zimmerman playing a cat and mouse game of sorts with Johnson, but Hadley, I think she was waiting to see what she would do with it, knowing she had time and was within that 18-yard box, so if the situation called for it, she could fall on the ball, and I think that's what it was. A little bit of gamesmanship. You don't have to put the ball in play right away. It was almost a case of, let's see what my opponent will do. Perhaps taking some notes in case she may need them in the final 9 minutes. No dancing here, but I've got a feeling Stillwater will be dancing with delight if they can close out with a victory.
Wait, what?
And this will help the Stillwater cause. You don't necessarily need another goal, you just need to run out time. Marisa Bonilla, who scored the go-ahead in the 54th minute, 3 multi-goal games, including two goals that is, in Stillwater's 6-0 win over Forest Lake. Fredkove, also with 3 2-goal games, and she had a stretch of 6 straight games with an assist. That started with the Edina game. Here's Johnson, extending her reach. We've talked about Maple Grove looking for that second equalizer. The Ponies eyeing a potential silencer. That's what another goal would do for them. Maple Grove with a free kick. They waste no time putting it in play. And I don't blame them, because if you can get the ball to Zimmerman, well, nobody's there, so Stillwater will clear it. But if you can get the ball to Zimmerman on the run or in a situation where she can go one-on-one, look out. That happened once already, and it almost happened a second time. One of the fastest players I've seen this season. Deep ball. Maple Grove trying to catch up to it. Maple Grove will get a corner out of this. Just their second. Although I think Stillwater will accept that result. That ruling, at the very least, gives them a chance to catch their breath. That ball caroms off. And just a little high. Sarah Nisler was in position. Tried to play the hop. And tap it in, but misplayed the angle. Break for the Ponies. That might have been Omar, actually. But no time to exhale yet. Stillwater with a clearance, and they'll be happy with that at this stage of the game. Any clearance they can get, anything that will eat up time, waste it, consume it, expend it. Stillwater will take that option, which means high lobs, clearing the ball away. Not necessarily worried about a scoring chance now. Just trying to keep the ball away and keep barreling it toward Maple Grove's keeper, Ingrid Kautzman, the senior. Kleppe found a teammate, and the Ponies get another clearance. Lauren Wilhouse sends it back to the Maple Grove side. Just over 4 minutes to play. And a throw-in for the Ponies. Maple Grove can't afford that. Throwing for the Ponies. As they seek a statement win. They scheduled tough, and I talked to Mike Huber a little bit before the game. He said this might have been the toughest schedule we've put together in a long time, but he didn't blink at the challenge the schedule would present the Ponies. And Stillwater, they've played tough for a long time. One of the teams you have to prep for. Year in, year out. Winning the Section 4 2A title 3 times. And there's the silencer off the deep ball. It's 3-1 with 2:02 to go. Kautzman couldn't field it, and Stillwater will get out of here with a win, barring something highly unusual. That was C.J. Fredkove. So Stillwater's big three. Score 3. And when you look back on this game, it boils down to chances. Stillwater created more of them, spent more time on the attacking side, and as we said before, this Stillwater team is an opportunistic one. If they sense even a sliver of a chance to knock it in, they'll go for it. And C.J. Fredkove demonstrated wise. But this is a team you have to plan for year in and year out. They won the section title 3 years running. Finished the 2020 season as the #1 team in Class 2A. We'll never know if they would have won the state title because no tournament was held. So the Ponies have some unfinished business going back to last year that they would like to address. Maple Grove will regroup as they're about to take their first loss of the 2021 season. And going back to what we said earlier, state tournament seeding implications at stake. As we're awaiting a free kick from Kendall Quall. That goes out of bounds. So this should help Stillwater move up a spot or two in the polls, but more importantly, it's going to help them move up a spot in seeding, because the coaches, when they look at the field, who did you play, who did you beat, Stillwater is going to have a pair of big non-conference wins. Lakeville North earlier this year, and now Maple Grove. The Ponies collect their biggest win of the season to wrap up homecoming week at Pony Stadium. 3-1 the final. Stillwater picks up their 7th straight win. Maple Grove hit with their first loss, and the schedule doesn't get any easier for the Crimson. Centennial is next. Stillwater has a couple of big Suburban East games. Mounds View on Tuesday, East Ridge next Thursday, and then they're back here next Saturday when they host Centennial. So a defining stretch of the season for the Ponies, and tonight they pass in flying colors. Luca Johnson, Marisa Bonilla, and CJ Fredkove, your goal scorers for Stillwater. Maple Grove, Laura Zimmerman got one in the 49th minute, but outside of that counter, Stillwater was able to keep her in check, and that made the difference. We'll try to get a word with a couple of the Stillwater players before we wrap it up. This is high school girls soccer. The Ponies beat the Crimson 3-1.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Joining me are Marisa Bonilla and Luca Johnson, who scored 2 of the 3 goals for Stillwater tonight. Luca, you scored the first one, and as we've seen all season, Stillwater, they excel in several facets on offense. One of them is caroms. Your goal came off of that. What makes Stillwater ready to pounce in situations where they have to pivot?
I would just say we want to go so bad, so we always just go to goal. I don't know. Yeah.
So how bad did you want it tonight?
Oh, very badly.
How big was that to score a goal against the most recent Class AAA champion, Maple Grove? You knew it was going to be a tough matchup. You strike first and get momentum on your side.
It felt good. It was good to get it in the first half and just get our rhythm going. Scoring right away just kind of pumps up the team to want it again.
Marisa, you became the first Stillwater player to reach 10 goals this season, and keep up here. Let's not make sure you don't back away into the abyss. That's all right. But the first Pony to reach 10 goals this season, yours came on another one of those carom situations. The ball was loose toward the net. How did you win that scrum?
Yeah, well, I think Nell did most of the work. She got the ball and had it behind her, or in front of her actually, with her back to goal. And I called for it, and she backed away, and I ran up and hit it pretty well with my left foot and my off foot. But it was a good hit, and it went well for me.
As far as momentum, how crucial was that score after Zimmerman tied it up a few minutes earlier?
I think it was really important because, the first couple games, Rosemount and Edina, we scored first and then got scored on again and did not score. And so the fact that we did score was big for us because we knew we could finish off strong and win the game with the goal ahead.
And what do you think has been key to helping you finish stronger as the season moves along?
Oh, man. I don't know. I think we're wanting it more and more. We realize that we can't just play 40 minutes. We have to play 80 minutes. And so we're playing strong the whole game instead of just a half, and it's good.
And for the two of you, what does a win over Maple Grove, the team that won the last big school state championship, ranked 3rd, hadn't lost a game yet, what does that do to propel your team?
I think it just gives us more confidence. We beat the number 3 team in the state, and I think that is really good for us, and we know we can do well.
Yeah, I think it definitely boosts boosts up our confidence and just like makes us want it more, realizing that we can get to it.
And before you start dancing over there, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Grandma.
Hi, my family.
All right, well, these two have a homecoming dance to get to, so we're not going to hold you up any longer, but congrats on the win, and I guess you have another reason to celebrate tonight when you hit the dance floor.
We do. Thank you, Mike.
Marisa Bonilla and Luca Johnson from the victorious Stillwater Ponies. That wraps up our coverage here from Pony Stadium and the campus of Oak Park Heights. For the rest of our crew, I'm Mike Beaton. Thanks for watching.